All right, gang. Today we're going to go over the roamer and how to set it up. So I'm going to do my absolute best to walk through the entire setup of the rig, how to power the rig. There are two options here. We have our batteries, and then we have an external battery here. For today's practice or tutorial, I'm just going to walk through with the battery, but I'll make mention of what you can do here with the external. So we're going to set up the rig with the flash, with the phone. That's going to carry our software. We'll walk through the software, and then we'll walk through how to link the wireless printing for the roamer. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with step one, which is assemble our roamer. This is going to be our primary camera for the roamer. It's the Canon 5D Mark IV. We also have a smaller setup, which is the Canon M50 Mark II. But for now, especially when some of our more seasoned photographers are going out with the roamer, they're going to be using this big boy here. So again, this has the cage already on it. You'll get it like this. If not, it's just as simple as screwing the cage on. If you're watching this video, you should know how to put the cage on the camera. But anyway, so right now it's not powered. There is no battery in it. Okay, so we can go ahead and start with that. Just go ahead and put a battery in the camera, just to get that out the way. Now again, oh, this is an aftermarket Watson battery. Whoa. Let's make sure we're going to actually have power here. This tutorial will be way more successful with power. All right, so we got full battery here. All right. Now, I mentioned earlier that we could have an alternative. We do have a dummy battery that is DTAP powered. And by DTAP, I mean our V-mount batteries, actually not this external, so I'm going to roll that out. The same V-mount batteries that we use for 360 booths. I don't have one in here with me, but the same ones have a DTAP connection. We have a dummy battery. I do have that battery cable here. Let's see. There we go. We have this baby. It's a DTAP dummy. So this part goes into the cartridge and slides through this little silicone opening. Okay, just kind of folds in like so. That way when you push this down, you can still close the door. Right? Cable comes out like so. And this is the DTAP connection here that fits right into the side of a V-mount battery, just like the ones we put at the bottom of the 360 booth. And you would just plug this in and leave it in your pocket, or if you have a way, if we have belts or something like that for you to attach the V-mount battery to your hip or something, then that's fine. But that's the way for our longer gigs, our 4-hour gigs, stuff like that. Then we'll go with DTAP. But for a 2-hour, maybe even 3-hour gig, we'll just have this 2-pack of batteries, and that should be more than enough life for what we're doing, shooting photos as opposed to video. But anyway, I'm going to get that out of the way, and we're going to put our battery back in and start with our setup. So to make sure we got power, perfect. We're going to add our adapter, our phone adapter to the cage. Here's the side right here where you do that, where the pattern matches. Just going to slide that up onto, and I'm going to do that from this angle too. And then just tighten this red knob. Boom. So now what you have here is options. Number one, you can, if you're shooting like this and you're shooting a horizontal image as seen here on the screen. Oh, let's get you a view. There we go. Probably can't see that well, right? You're shooting a horizontal image, and let's say your phone, all of your overlays and everything are horizontal. Maybe you want the phone hooked up like this, right? And so you would just put your phone up like that. Or maybe you're going to shoot portrait, and you can just tilt this up so that when you're shooting, you can just look down and see the portrait image, right? So anyway, for this walkthrough, we're actually going to be setting it up portrait style. So I'm going to go ahead and, I mean, either way, it's the only difference really is that if it's horizontal, you might want to put it like this so that your cable is closest to the camera. Your ports for the phone right here are closest to the ports to the camera right here. But either way, it's fine. I've turned this upside down for portrait too, but for sake of the tutorial today, I'm just going to go ahead and fasten this portrait style like so. You'll see a picture of me and my family from testing earlier. Okay, so, don't tighten it, don't cover the buttons. I should not have done that. There we go. So you just want to make sure you avoid the volume button and the power button here on the side. we get a good grip on it, tighten it up right here with this knob on the side. You can use the Allen wrench right here to kind of tighten up, and this little wheel under here to tighten up, give more or less resistance here, if that's bothersome for you, how much that moves. So now we're going to connect the phone to the camera by way of USB. So we have a USB cable here, and this one looks like the USB. I think this is B, but it's shaped like the USB cables that go into external hard drives. And it just goes right into the side of the Canon 5D Mark IV right here. And so we're going to plug that baby in. Okay, and I usually just give this a wrap or two around the arm. And this is just so like cables aren't hanging off of the rig and it's not looking, tacky. And so I'm just going to wrap that a couple times. And then I'll plug my USB into the adapter. And then plug that into the phone. Okay, so now you got some connectivity. And what usually happens when you open the phone and you open TouchPix, you'll usually see this screen change right here. It'll go black and there'll be like a little desktop icon, right? And the fact that it's not doing that right now, it's not a big deal. You can just close the software, turn the camera off, right? Close that right now. And so to start, I always like to turn the camera on first and then turn the software on second so that the software can recognize the camera once it logs on, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera on. We're going to make sure that our camera is set to photo, okay? You see here, there's a setting, a knob for settings. You can move it down to video or you can move it to photo. We're going to move that to photo. All right. On the M50, there's a dial here where you can kind of move the dial over and change it to manual, photo, video. You'll change it to manual on the M50. But for our 5D here, the setting is right here on the back. You can just change it to video and photo here. All right. And then for some reason, I don't have my live view. Oh, okay. So when you see that busy like that, that's letting me know it's seeing the camera. Okay. So I'm going to open up TouchPix. And you'll notice that it's actually showing the back face of the camera. So this camera is not connected to the phone yet or to the software. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to stand up here, show you. What we're going to do here is go to settings and we're going to go down to camera. And you'll see it has the front camera open. So we're going to go to DSLR. All right. And then we're going to click on connect DSLR. And when I did that, you see that black screen with the desktop icon popped up and it connected us, right? So you see it says connect to DSLR connected. You also want to make sure that session after shutter is selected. This means that whenever you hit this actuator, it's going to actually take the picture and put the overlay on that shot. If you have this off, whenever you hit the actuator, it's going to start. It may not even work. It may just force you to click. It may just force you to click the photo button here and then start the 5-second countdown like this, which that's not what we want. It's kind of cumbersome to try to hold the camera still for a 4-second countdown when you can just point, count them down and shoot the shot, right? And so going back to our camera settings here, going to make sure also our rotation for our live view. One, make sure your live view is on. So that's selected here is on. And your portrait left is the rotation you want in terms of rotation or live view rotation direction. And so when you go back here, you'll notice that the shot I have here is portrait, right? And you'll see my wife sitting there on the couch. Now you'll notice she's really, really dark on this display on the phone, right? Our camera is connected to the phone. You're not seeing it here on the view screen unless you push this button. You can see the live view here, but you have a live view here on the screen, so really no need, right? Now, whenever we take this photo, we have settings here, shutter speed and ISO. If you are doing this, watching this video, you already know how to set that on the camera before hooking this up, so I shouldn't have to teach that. But because we have our settings the way we have them, we're going to go ahead and put a flash on this so that our images are properly exposed. We use the Canon V1C, and I'm going to go ahead and hook this baby up via hot shoe here. Probably should have done that with the camera off. And turn that on. Okay, got our green light. Going to give it a test. Also going to go ahead and give us a test shot there. Super duper overexposed as you see, but as soon as I took that photo, you'll notice it took it and it applied the overlay to it. I'm going to delete this and shoot one more. There we go. Never mind. So it applied the overlay. You may be able to see that. There we go. That we have for CAE. Now, this is a test event, but that's an example of the photo being overlaid, and then now it's ready to share. Down here, you see the sharing options: email, SMS, text, or printing or AirDrop. We can also add QR codes to that as well. Now, you also notice up here at the top, it says Print Picks connection lost, connect. That's because this is not yet connected to our printer, okay? So I'm going to take this off my wrist, which, by the way, this is just for you to not have to hold the camera the whole time. If you want to walk around the event and kind of let it hang off of your wrist, that's what this is for. Also helps us not sit the camera down and forget it somewhere because it's tied to your wrist, so please wear that. Now, I'm going to move over to our printer so that we connect our software wirelessly to our PrintPix box. And so this is the PrintPix box. This is a removable USB. Oh, goodness. Removable USB antenna here. There is a little blue LED light there that indicates that this thing is on and working. So I'm going to plug that in here at the top, USB right there in the top middle, and it actually folds up and down. It kind of moves side to side as well. And you'll notice a couple things here in the box. There's the IP address right here down at the bottom, which is very helpful when you're needing to look at some settings. And then here's a Wi-Fi name and password here, because in order to connect to this thing, before you power it up or anything, you need to make sure that the phone that is connected to your camera for our roamer is connected to the Wi-Fi to this module, okay? I know I said before I plug it up, you can't connect to it if it's not plugged up, right? So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. There's a micro USB port right there. And so this little white adapter is what plugs into it. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. I'll set this here, give it some power. And as soon as you power that up, you'll see inside the little perforated grate, there's a little LED inside there. It's a red light that comes on, and then you'll see a green one come on there. There we go. So we're good to go. Now, we have our printer. It's not turned on yet. You know how to turn this printer on if you're watching this. You'll just click power on in the back. I've already loaded this up. If you don't know how to load the printer, that's another tutorial. But anyway, this is already loaded up and ready to go. And so you would take the USB that's coming from the printer and put that into a USB port as well. I put it on this column as opposed to the same one with the antenna, because when you do that, this is kind of thick, so it tends to do that and might damage the USB. So I just put it in a different port, different column. All right, and then so I can put this antenna up, I just kind of lay it face down like so. Also allows it to breathe. I'm assuming that's what these perforated holes are for, right? So now that this is powered and plugged in, you'll notice there's a little LED light right here at the top of this USB port. It should be blue. It's not blinking or doing anything, right? We need to connect to this thing. So what I'm going to do is go to our Wi-Fi settings on the phone, press and hold here. And Wi-Fi is connected to my home Wi-Fi, right? We want to be looking for TP Print Server right there at the bottom. So we're going to connect to TP Print Server. Oops, went to the wrong settings. So let's go to Wi-Fi. TP Print Server, we're connected, okay? Now we're going to go back to TouchPix. Exit out of this real quick. Then we're going to go to Settings. We're going to go to Printer or Printing. All right. Now, likely this will say none, but you want to go up here at the top panel and click on PrintPix, and you'll notice immediately this is set to auto at the top. The connection is set to auto, and it immediately went from red to green. Remember earlier I showed that IP address to the TouchPix box or the PrintPix box. And that's it right there, right? It's been manually entered. And so, or it should automatically find it if it's not manually entered. And then down here, you'll notice available printing, the DMP DS-RX1, which is the one you see right here in front of you. So it's connected, it sees the printer. The big thing here is you want to make sure the available paper size is selected correctly. We want to select 5 or 6x4. That's the paper that's coming out of this machine. That's the correct dimension. And then if you want to connect to Wi-Fi, because the TP print server is not a internet server, right? It's just a connection to the printer, but it doesn't give you the Wi-Fi, the internet connection in order to send an email. If you want to share one of the photos via email, you don't have the Wi-Fi to do so unless you click on PrintPix Management right here. And when you click on that, it's going to take you to the management page for the PrintPix server. Okay, and so you'll see the current connection. There is nothing connected here, right? It says not connected. This is my home Wi-Fi. You would find the Wi-Fi for whichever building you're in, whatever venue you're at. If you have the Wi-Fi connection, then you would just go ahead and select that. Sorry, I'm going to get close here. Select that Wi-Fi network and it'll connect you. That way you have Wi-Fi or internet connection in addition to connection to PrintPix, right? So going back here, gonna go back to 9 and go right to PrintPix. All right, so we are connected to our PrintPix box. So now I'm going to give it a test run. I'm also going to try to turn my there we go. I'm going to turn this flash down a bit because that was overexposed. But then I'm going to point this at my wife. Okay, and again, if you want to see a live view here for whatever reason, you want to see what the focus is looking like, or whenever you hold this actuation down before a shot, you'll notice the screen kind of gets brighter. The focus assist comes up, right? And then I take a shot. Then immediately it's going to send that over. It's going to apply the overlay to it. And then it will send the print to the printer as well. Nothing happened currently. It does take a second, especially if you have walked a good distance away from the printer. It might take a minute, which is fine because, by the time you tell your guests, hey, if you go over to the print station, your print will be at the printer. But if you're sitting right there, right next to it, this is a great time to kind of stall or go ahead and share the image via AirDrop here or via text message or via email. Just like we do with the 360 booth shots, all right? But yeah, that is the breakdown of how to connect. Okay, should have started printing by now. That's weird. I don't know why I haven't. It definitely should have started by now. But that's the connection, the way to connect everything for our roamer. At the very least, if you do bump into a situation like what I'm experiencing now where the printer is not printing immediately, it should really only take 10 seconds. If it's not immediately going to the printer, then go ahead and just share those shots digitally. Let your sales rep know. Let the admin assistant know, and we'll either try to troubleshoot it with you over the phone, or we'll go ahead and tell you to bail on the on the printer, and we'll just print them out later and send them to the client. But you'll always have the ability to digitally share at the very least, right? But a quick troubleshooting tip in the event that something like this is happening. I'm going to go back to settings. I'm going to go back to our printer and just make sure that it is connected. Okay. PrintPix box is working. Oh, we don't have a green light here. Just noticed that. So perhaps maybe our antenna here. Oh, I don't think it was plugged all the way in. Let's switch it up and see. Okay, so I have discovered what it is, the troubleshooting issue in our tutorial earlier that didn't work. The disconnection from the phone to the printer. You'll see we got a blue light blinking now. To access that, you'll go to settings and then go to printing. And then down here where it says PrintPix Management, what I noticed on my phone when I went there was that the phone was disconnecting from the TP print server Wi-Fi, because for whatever reason, this particular phone, this iPhone, had my home Wi-Fi set to auto join. And so I'll be sure all of we don't have any auto join networks on any of the phones that go out. But if you face the issues that you saw in our tutorial just now, that might be it. So it might be that you've gone in, you did all the steps correctly, you went to Wi-Fi, you picked TP print server, but then the auto join from a venue that we frequent or something like that just booted it out and and chose the Wi-Fi from the venue, right, instead of TP print server. Now, once you have turned that auto join off and reconnected to TP print server, gone to print pics here, you'll see it's connected. If it's not connected, you don't have that green light, you can just go to print pics management and see what the heck is going on. And when you go to print pics management, it pulls up the server page, and you can see all the connected networks. You'll see I'm connected right now to my home Wi-Fi as a bridge network, right? So I'm connected to TP print server. Again, I'll show you that in the Wi-Fi settings. Boom, TP print server. However, I've gone to the print server page, and underneath wireless network, I've bridged over to my home network here, right? And so now I have the internet from the venue, and I have the server network from PrintPix. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, just call us and we'll troubleshoot this over the phone for you. But